To our devotion for reading through the Bible in a year in the 1 Year Bible, and today we're in October 1st. And our Old Testament reading is from Isaiah chapter 62 verse 6 through chapter 65 verse 25, and we'll be honing in on Isaiah's chapter 63 verse 15 through chapter 64 verse 12. And here the guardian on Zion's walls now turns to asking some important questions, such as, where is the Lord's love? Why does the Lord remain estranged? Why has the Lord not acted? Is there still hope? And can love still be withheld? Like us, he sees the city of God in earthly disarray and longs for such a divine intervention as will set all to rights. Looking at these verses, chapter 63 verse 15 is very similar to chapter 64 verse 11. The first verse speaks of God's mansion of holiness and beauty, the second of the earthly house of God's people. The first mansion is the Lord's heavenly abode. The second house is the earthly one where he promised to live among his people. The first is inviolable in holiness and beauty. The second, having been entrusted to God's people on earth, is unfortunately now caught up in the disaster caused by their sin. The second was meant to be a replica of the first, but it fell short. The same truth remains. The Lord's earthly people, even now, are themselves the temple in which he lives by his Spirit. We are meant to reflect God's holiness and beauty. However, we rightly mourn our own sinfulness, divisiveness, and failure to adhere to God's word. We rightly mourn our lack of holiness that has marred the image that we ought to convey. Who, looking at the church today, be it a whole denomination or any of a vast number of local congregations, can actually see the likeness of Jesus? Well, tomorrow, I believe, happens to be a new moon, and that is a reminder when we look at the merest sliver of a crescent moon, such as we might see tonight. We don't say, oh, there's part of a moon, or look at part of the moon. We say, look at the moon. There is the moon. That is how it is meant to be. Each individual local congregation, however small, is meant to be a mirror image of the whole, an earthly replica of the heavenly reality where Christ is all in all. We should be able to look at the various fellowships where we belong and say, look at the church. Here is the church. In this church, gathered around word and sacrament, we hold to the gospel and are